everyone, welcome to a flip through for Flip Through Friday. This is an open collab hosted by Christina's Shack. Please head over to her channel. I'll have the link below, and you can see all the other creators participating and showing flip throughs of different journals and all kinds of things, and it's really cool. So please go check them out if you have a chance. For today, I'm going to share with you this journal that I have. It's a Traveler's Company notebook, and it's something I've had for a couple of years. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. So I started off, and this video is actually up. It's an older video on my channel of when I decorated this cover. I think it was like 2 years ago. And with Moomins, I'm a big fan of Moomins. We got Snufkin, Moomin Troll, Little My, big fan. So I just kind of collaged that piece there, and then I added some little stamps and stickers. And now that I've finished this notebook here, I added this note. I began this journal in 2020, not quite knowing what I was going to use it for. Then in October 2022, I began to take nature walks and decided this would make a perfect nature journal. So this is now my nature journal, but I'll show you sort of how it started. So this was in 2020. I started by just making a collage and playing around, and of course adding some mushrooms. And these adorable Mushroom Girl stickers were created by Chi Romero, Little Miss Paintbrush on Patreon. These were some rewards that she had. They may still be in her shop, I'm not sure. She has a shop called Whimsicute, and she makes really adorable things. Stickers, characters, animals, cute. And then this was in 2020 when I just wrote about the pandemic and how the boys were doing remote school at that time. We don't want to talk about that probably. Everyone's had enough of that. So let's flip through. And this was a random day. I just decided to draw a tree or paint a tree. And then this I remember was February. Yep, February 14th, 2021. I decided to do a little Valentine collage. I had been making some Valentine's cards for some local residents, and so I just took some of the pieces that I had left over and I made this collage 2-page spread. And then I painted this, and then we transitioned in October of this year. Okay, so this is October 7th, 2022. I had gone over to a trail, and I just happened to pack this with me. Just randomly thinking, you know what, I'm gonna pack this. I've never used it for anything. Maybe I'll try doing a nature journal. And I wasn't really doing a lot of outdoor walking at that point either. But I brought this with me, and I went over there. It was a beautiful day, 56 degrees. And I just wrote down what I could hear, the different birds, chipmunks, leaves falling. And then I went for a walk. This was a beaver lodge that I saw that just had lily pads. So I sketched everything real quick while I was out for the walk, and then when I came home, I just put some watercolor in there. And not on everything, just some of the things. So I saw little milk pods. I just tried to kind of observe and do it, like I said, a real quick sketch. And then these were mushrooms, and this is when I realized I really want to start focusing on mushrooms on my walk and trying to figure out what's growing out there. What are these things growing all around me that I just walk by but I don't really pay attention to a lot of the time? And then these were black walnut shells that were everywhere. So I said, who has been eating these? And I think we can guess it's probably squirrels and chipmunks, but I wonder if anybody else enjoys those. And then this was a little like clover flower, a little purple clover flower. And then I was sitting down writing, and I had seen a great blue heron. And then when I went to sit down there's a little spot by the pond where you can sit down and look out, and I didn't see him anymore. I said, where'd he go? And then all of a sudden, around the corner, he peeked. So I got to see him. And then fish, a little bunny. I could hear acorns falling, so I drew this little guy going, wee! And then this was just at home. I saw a bluebird, which I see these all the time now, that we have at least 2 of them that seem to live here pretty much year round. And this year I actually saw about 5 or 6 at a time. And then this was funny. This was across the street. There was a little bunny that was sitting, and then a chipmunk rushed out of the bush, and when he did it, he spooked the rabbit, and the rabbit jumped straight up, so that was funny. And bats at night. And then we were woken up by this woodpecker pecking on the side of the house, which probably isn't a good sign, because there's probably bugs in there. But yeah, we had a little woodpecker there, bluebirds, and then a dandelion. Then we went for a walk and saw some turtles hanging out on logs. So sometimes I'm specific about, you know, I usually date, but I don't always write the temperature or what time it was. It's just sporadic. And then sometimes I'll be specific with what kind of bird or what kind of animal or plant. Plants I'm not too good at, but I'm trying to learn more. So sometimes I'm specific about what I see, and sometimes it's just turtle, woodpecker. You know, I don't get too particular. I don't want to get too worried about the details unless I'm actually trying to do a little research when I get home and trying to figure out, what did I see out there? And this is just a creature, not quite a deer because it has more of a fox face. And then this was a warm day where the ladybugs came out, and then I decided to draw the ladybug life cycle. So I started with the eggs, larval stage, adult beetle, nope, eggs, larval stage, pupal stage, adult beetle. And then birds, this was me doing a quick sketch of what was out the window. So super fast sketch of a robin. That's a robin listening for worms, and there's a robin who always eats what we call birdie berries. They're these red berries that are in this tree, and I actually don't know what kind of tree it is, so there's something to research for my journal. This page I accidentally skipped, and then here I am back for a walk. The other nice thing about keeping the nature journal is that it really got me to enjoy going for walks every day. It became almost like a scavenger hunt because I would go out for a walk and try to see something new each time, or just see what was happening in nature. So it was a lot more interesting than, say, doing the treadmill, you know, or just walking around the neighborhood. It's really fun to go out and get a woodsy walk because there's always something happening, and sometimes you have to really look for it. Not so much back then, but now when the woods are more quiet, you have to really look, but you still can manage to see a lot of things out there if you take your time. And I saw a raccoon that looked really tired. And then this one I actually wrote, end of walk, 11:03, 10,000 steps, 48 degrees. So I happened to put everything, but again, it's inconsistent. I don't always do that. And then I saw a deer this day, and that was exciting. And then here's another mushroom, which I still haven't identified yet, but it was really papery. It was white and really papery, so that was pretty. And then here's another one, bright white and tucked among many pine needles. And then these were tiny little tan mushrooms that looked like mini lily pads. Oh, and I always take pictures too, so that way sometimes I sketch when I'm walking, sometimes I just take pictures, and then when I get home I will look at my pictures and sketch because I have more time and it's easier to sketch here at my desk than it is when I'm trying to sit down somewhere outside and do something. So acorns falling everywhere, a little chipmunk chirp alarms alerted everyone in the forest that we were nearby. And then here's a squirrel. They were gathering everything. They were very busy at that time. And then leaf gathering. So here I tried to pick up some different leaves and then come home and sketch them and then look them up. For example, I know oaks and maples, but I don't know the variations. So from what I could research, this seems to be a sugar maple, this is a red maple, this one's more spiky, this one's a red oak, but there's so many different kinds of oaks and maples, so it's kind of fun to try to identify them. I don't know if I got them right. Sassafras is like a dinosaur print, so that's an interesting one. And this one I wrote the Latin names, but again, I don't always do that. I just do that sometimes when I'm pretending I'm writing some sort of ancient research tomb or something. Tome. Some ancient research kind of thing. But okay, here we go on the trail again. And this was blue jays today. Lots of geese flying overhead. This was funny because I would hear a rustle. I would look over and I'd see a little chipmunk face looking at me. And then all of a sudden, whoop, he'd just disappear under the leaves. So super cute. This was a caterpillar crossing the road. I've never seen this before. It was black, but he had like red bands. His body was reddish color. So I looked it up and it turns out giant leopard moth caterpillar. And there's the Latin, which I'll never remember again. I don't know, it's just kind of fun to write that. But yeah, I guess this turns into like a really beautiful moth from the picture I saw. And then there were geese there. And this was funny because I saw a couple ladies feeding the geese. So I was like, I don't know if you're supposed to feed them. I guess it's not a big deal, but I made the goose saying, excuse me, I enjoy being fed. Thank you very much. But you know, you never know if you're supposed to feed them or not because sometimes there gets to be too many of them and then they get territorial or, you know, I don't know. I just walk through and look at them. And then what do I have here? Some kind of, oh, this was the cat o' nine tails, which is like a swamp plant, but it was really puffy. So it was usually like a brown part at the top. Kind of looks like this. And that now it has turned into like the seed poofs, which look like big clouds. And this page is up on my channel. This is the English starling. They were all migrating this day, so I did put the video of this page up. And this page is up too. There's one of the wild turkeys I saw that morning, so that is up on the channel too. This was a great, really nice lady I met on the walk who was telling me about how to find witch hazel plants. So I just sort of sketched real basic witch hazel plants, but I had never looked for them. But she told me they were doing their fall blooming. Oh, here we go. Here's sort of what it looks like with the branch, and then these little, like almost firework kind of yellow flowers. So she told me it was in bloom, and then she pointed it out. So that was really cool. And then I made it a side quest to try to find witch hazel on my own as I was walking, and I still haven't found it on my own. So only that one day she showed me. So I gotta try again in the spring. Maybe they'll do a spring bloom, and then maybe I can try to find it. And this is a mushroom page, which this is up on the channel as well. You can see me make this, but yeah, I just cataloged different mushrooms that I saw, and then I tried to look it up, and I don't know if I got them right. But, you know, if someone wants to look through this later on in life, or, you know, my kids look through it and they're like, Mom, that's not a false turkey tail, that's something else. They can always write a little note in there and, you know, fix it. So this is just what I discovered, but there's so many mushrooms and so many things look similar. It's tricky. And then this was a little walk with a red squirrel carrying a mushroom. That was super cute. I didn't know they even harvested mushrooms. And then I saw a coyote who was looking at me like, are you seriously in my forest right now? And then this is a large, is it pileated woodpecker? I think. These huge ones. They're like pteranodons. No, they're like the size of crows. And he's saying, call me Revali. And Revali's this bird character from Zelda, so he's feeling very important about himself. And this was an angry squirrel, or he sounded angry. He was like chittering at us from the tree. So he was super cute. And this was a little sparrow that landed right on the screen. That was just at home. I was actually visiting my mom that day. And then another walk. A blue jay was carrying something in there. It looked like a berry. So I was interested in that because instead of just eating it, he actually harvested it and carried it off somewhere. And then this chipmunk, or there were just lots of chipmunks that were, oh no, it is. One chipmunk was stuffing his cheeks with leaves. So he was really stuffing them in there. So he's going, I like my leaf mattress extra soft. And then there were friendship rocks. And there's more of those poofy cat o' nine tails, and then ducks and juncos. So the junco birds are back, which means it's getting cold. It means it's getting to be winter. So he's going, we're back, baby. Oh, and this was a good day for mushrooms. I saw these really cool mushrooms growing on the tree, and they were like wiggly and awesome. And then these ones look like horse hooves. And I know there are mushrooms called horse's hooves, but I don't know if this was actually them or something else. And then I saw a water snake, and he just kind of sat there for a while, so I got to really have a good look at him. And that was really cool. This is all stuff I would just miss if I wasn't looking for it. I would totally probably not looked at this, except I was purposely, observing the whole time I'm walking. I'm looking for mushrooms or looking for something, and sometimes you have to stop and look too. You might just walk by something. Mushrooms, these are big old mushrooms here that were growing on a tree that had fallen. It was birch, so I think these are, birch polypers, I think? So this birch was a fallen one, and then these are just these big old guys growing on there. And then another walk, and this was a lot of like really cool green looking mushroom fungi things growing on this tree, which I didn't paint yet. I should do that. And then berries. And then my mom was here with me this time, so we actually saw a whole flock of Canadian geese touch down in the pond, and so that was really cool. So I drew this picture and I said, Mom, what should he be thinking? And she said, brakes on. So that's for Mom. And that's the end of this journal. So now I'm in my new journal, which is this one here. So I might share that one another time. It's not done yet, but I'll share that one with you maybe next week. It's not finished, but I can show you what I have so far. So that's it. That's my nature journal. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know if you also do nature journaling. And I do recommend, just even if you can't bring something with you, if you have your camera, just take a picture of what you see, and then when you get home you can write about it. And it does make walks really enjoyable. So a little tricky to do in the winter maybe if you have tough weather, but most days you can get out there and just see what's going on, or just look out the window. So I hope you have a great day today. I hope you have time to create, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye now.